guy's problem. Well, one thing's for sure, right? Anyway, just to be honest... Oh? What kind of hunt? A special connection? Anyway, Paimon heard that the Crux fleet is stocking up in Rito at the moment. Rust and rebuild! Kazuma is.
You're looking for Kazuha too, huh? Guess he must have done something impressive after all. Well, we took the small vessels into Rito on a routine supply run, only this time, as soon as we entered the harbor, we ran into a huge crowd of Inazumans, all of them wanting to know if it's because of that battle on Nizuchi Beach. Captain Beto had a great run there too, but I don't see her getting the... Kazuha keeps to himself most of the time. In fact, there are times when he doesn't even listen to the captain, but she just laughs it off.
Oh, so you still don't know what he did?
I've heard bits and pieces. Something about him blocking the Raiden Shogun's Muso no Hito Is it really as big a deal as everyone's making it out to be? Really? Wow. When you put it like that, it all makes sense. In that case, his newfound stardom is well deserved. He was called away earlier by some people from the Tenryou Commission. They said they had something important to discuss. I thought they'd come to arrest.
Just a little while ago, this would have been completely unimaginable. Thank you! Guess what?
All right then. I'll just...
Oh? It's you.
Greetings. We were just discussing the repealing. We invited Mr. Kaidahara here to extend a gesture of goodwill on behalf of the... Your hard work has secured for us the agreeable state of affairs that we now enjoy. The Almighty Shogun has issued a large array of directives aimed at resolving, or at least easing, the tensions that have built up over the years. The Tri-Commission has made the recommendation to use this opportunity to restore the honor of the Kaidahara name. Regarding the history of the Kaidahara clan, I trust that you're already somewhat informed? In short, but there came a time when we later learned, considering Mr. in the interest of preventing further...
This is a true honor. I am delighted to be in a position to receive the goodwill of the Almighty Shogun, and the Shogunate at large. However, would I be correct to assume that this magnanimous gesture does not come without some strings attached?
I can assure you that nothing could be... With the Kaidahara clan, you will be able to lead...
I have grown accustomed, yet my ancestors did indeed take great pride in the name of Kaidahara, and the art of blade making for which it stood. I do have a responsibility to restore their honor.
I sense some hesitation in your words. Should you accept this offer, I imagine many of the...
Malicious rumor?
Well, to some, the Muso no Hito... Also,
What?
That is correct.
This is just one of many similar rumors. I am very uncomfortable with being the subject of public discussion, no matter whether it brings suspicion or stardom my way. But perhaps if the shogunate is willing to publicly support me, this situation will blow over more quickly.
This is precisely why I encourage you to give our offer some serious thought. It stands to benefit all of us.
Please allow me some time to... In fact, let us put this discussion on hold for the moment.
Yikes!
Why would such a dangerous individual be looking for me? No. This puzzles me as much as it does you. My fighting forms were taught to me by my family, based on techniques originally developed for blade testing. We undergo rigorous training to standardize every motion the blade is put through, so that each can be fairly assessed for quality. Over time, these techniques came to form something of a Kaedahara sword art, focused on blade testing, but with a full repertoire of combat forms. Those forms are quite different from the more practical ones typically used by samurai in battle. So it's hard to imagine that the similarity you speak of was coincidence alone.
All the more reason to watch your back! This guy was a serious nutcase.
Indeed. He sounds highly aggressive. Anyone he targets is at risk of serious injury, or worse.
In that case, I will send some men out immediately to search for him.
Thank you. I must say I am now very curious about this matter, and I will also need some time to consider your offer. I will first join the Traveler in investigating the one who attacked him, then give you a conclusive answer upon my return.
Very well. Please stay safe.
Come on. Let's go and track down your aggressor.
The detective agency knows the most about what goes on in town. Let's see what Ryuji has to say. Hey there! We'd like to ask you a quick question. Do you know if anyone around here has been looking for him? For Kaedahara Kazuha, we mean.
Aha! So this is the renowned...
You are too kind. We are currently investigating an assault and would appreciate...
Oh? Mr. Kaedehara is currently the talk of the town. To be honest with you, some of them were...
Millie?
Please, accept my thanks for looking out for my privacy.
Of course. But I wouldn't know where to begin if we want to
Then let's put that connection aside for now. Have there been any other attacks or similar incidents recently that stand out as particularly unusual? The Tenryou Commission had
It's true that if anyone had been...
Uh-oh. Looks like the
I still find few people possess your prowess in battle. So unless you... I am well aware of your talents. It would cost me for the poor victim.
Don't worry. We'll...
It seems you are every bit the selfless hero they make you out to be, Mr. Kaidehara.
You flatter me.
You are... Oh, let me tell you.
Sure.
All right then. One of them is a...
I'm a gnome.
Right. 2 grown men going missing. I recalled this.
Understood. Though it seems highly...
Sure.
Thank you, Ryuji. We'll start by...
Sounds good. All the best with your investigation.
Okay.
Ah, if it isn't Kaedehara Kazuha.
You...
Yes, the Kaedehara. After I returned to Inazuma, Yes.
Though all as an example, there is nothing. As for the art,
That's right. For only a blade...
indeed. You are, without a doubt, the most worthy wielder of an Ishin blade.
You overestimate. But let's get... We hope to...
Ah, yes. He didn't say a word, but I've done what
We heard that the...
Yes. I believe he went to collect the item. Yes. Strange. If I had to guess, he's never been particularly interested in blade forge. He is
Truth be told, based on the evidence...
What? He is humble. Yes. But I also cannot... Anyway?
Don't worry. You have our word.
From the sound of that, Paimon doesn't...
Yes. It sounds as if something happened. Let's pay a visit.
I'm very sorry, but we can... My husband...
No.
I'm sorry you...
I'm afraid we don't have any new information. With this in mind...
He'd always get so... Everything was fine.
Uh-oh.
He lost his... Our expenses really spiraled out of control when he started getting interested in weapons. He wouldn't sell them. I'm happy he... On the last day...
Whoa.
And that led...
Actually, it didn't. You must After I said those... His voice was so meek and pitiful that I felt an urge to take everything back. But then what? If I didn't draw the line, what would happen to our family? Had I not And the next thing I heard...
I see. Amin Omayui.
At first... But my husband has never been one to negotiate. He never even haggles when he's out buying grocery. I don't know. Perhaps he's too... As long as he's...
Please don't get upset. If collecting... But the information...
A little
Let's try a change of scenery. Rest assured.
Thank you.
Based on the information we've gathered so far, I can only surmise that the sales meeting between the two men was somehow the catalyst for their disappearance. The fire at the warehouse likely played a part in how the situation unfolded, though its exact role is a mystery. Do you have any thoughts?
Well, Paimon was thinking that maybe someone accidentally knocked over an oil lamp and... Nope, never mind. Paimon's brain needs to rest for a while. Over to you.
That is the most likely conclusion based on everything we know. What started as a disagreement over the price escalated. However, in this case, only one of the parties would have started the fire. That would make the other party innocent, and they would have no reason to hide themselves from the public. If this is indeed what happened, and the innocent man hasn't come forward yet, then it suggests they may have already lost their life. One fact that I keep coming back to is that Amenoma Yuya is polite and well-mannered, while Mr. Nagato is introverted and passive. Neither seems like the type of person who is inclined towards initiating conflict. Mr. Nagato, being heavily in debt, is also the only one of them with the potential motive to disappear after the fire. The more I ponder it, the more puzzling it becomes. Just what could have happened there? Right. Although the time frame seems to broadly match, no other details that we've learned seem to link the two events together. Amenoma Yuya lacks a key distinguishing feature of the attacker, namely that he is principally a practitioner of the blade testing techniques of Amenoma art, not those of the combat-oriented Ishin art.
Darn! We thought we could get two birds with one stone here, but at this rate, it's starting to look like a wild goose chase.
Let's keep going, since if we can solve the case, both Mr. Amenoma and Mrs. Nagato will be able to get some
Okay, but where should we go?
Let's head out of the city and check out the warehouse. There's still a chance we may be able to find some shreds of evidence. Wait. I hear something ominous.
Oh! This must be another one of those sounds that only you can hear. As sketchy as that whole thing seems, you did put it to good use when we were chasing down that vision.
Now I'm picking up a strong scent in addition to the sound. It's right around here somewhere.
But there's nothing here.
It's gone now, but I can still sense the direction it left in. It felt very much like that ancient presence in Inazuma. Indeed. But this unexpected spring of inauspicious energy may prove to be of benefit to our investigation. We should remain vigilant and approach slowly.
So it's an underground warehouse.
The force is definitely coming from down below. The source of the Tatarigami energy has long since left this place, but the residue it left behind still hasn't dissipated completely. Judging from the concentration, I would have to conclude that the Tatarigami source resided here for a very long time.
Mrs. Nagato said her husband used to hang around the warehouse by himself a lot.
It could well be that he was already under the influence of Tatarigami energy at that time. From what I've been told, Tatarigami does not turn all upon whom it preys into violent monsters, but most will develop a stubborn streak upon being exposed to the Tatarigami's unfulfilled will. Mr. Nagato had an interest in collecting to begin with. The influence of Tatarigami could explain why he became an obsessive hoarder, amassing more and more possessions, even as he put himself in grave debt.
So what should we do now? Go down and take a look?
Step back. I'll open the door and take a look inside. If we don't open this door, we can move no closer to the truth. You needn't worry. Both of us have faced far greater dangers than this. Relatively speaking, the risk here is trivial.
What's down there?
Everything's buried in debris. I can't see anything. It looks like the fire caused a cave-in, reducing the entire warehouse to rubble.
That was too scary! Paimon was so sure that the warehouse boogeyman was about to jump out at us!
All we can do now is keep searching in the direction that the Tatarigami energy source left this place. 2 ordinary humans, entangled with the Tatarigami. I fear much misfortune has already... Yes, let's go. If nothing else, it's vital that we find out where this Tatarigami energy is coming from. Quiet your mind and focus on what you sense around you. Perhaps you too will perceive its ominous presence in the wind. From this point, the trail appears to split into 2. The main source of the Tatarigami energy can... quite possibly.
Whoa! Look at all those hilly churls! They're acting really strangely!
Something seems to be drawing their attention. Let's take a closer look.
Illusion shattered!
It's...
Ugh! Look at this red stuff! What is it?
By the looks of it, a letter written on a piece of torn clothing. The ink is bone dry. It must have been written quite some time ago. Well, let's take a look. According to this letter, a conflict arose because Amenoma Yuya wanted to seize a blade belonging to Mr. Nagato. Yuya started the fire that destroyed the warehouse and wounded Mr. Nagato in the fight. Mr. Nagato kept chase as long as he could, eventually stopping here to write this letter when his strength gave out.
So, where is he?
He was not only mortally wounded, but also under the heavy influence of Tatarigami. Add to that the fact that its aura seems to have attracted a horde of monsters, and I'm afraid he may no longer be with us. Whatever traces there may have been of his fate beyond after this point, yes, right now we need to uncover some more important truths. If Amenoma Yuya is attacking other people indiscriminately, then the longer we take to find him, the more people risk meeting the same tragic end.
Right! So let's get moving!
I wouldn't be surprised if he, too, fell prey to the influence of the Tatarigami. For a practitioner of the martial arts, the easiest desire to inflame would be their pursuit of further power and skill. All the clues that at first seemed disparate and disconnected, it seems that now we know the thread that runs between them. I have a hypothesis that, if it's correct, not only explains the series of events leading to the 2 men's disappearance, but also zeroes in on the attacker's identity.
Wait! You figured it out? So these 2 cases are connected after all?
I believe so. But it's something of an outlandish idea. I will only be able to confirm my suspicions once we've met him in person. On with the search. We must stay vigilant. At any point now, we may find ourselves in danger. seems to have stayed here for a long time.
Why here? Is there anything special about this place?
I'm not sure. But on closer examination, I sense that the aura may have lingered here at several different points in time. Show yourself! It's no use hiding anymore.
Kaedehara Kazuha. It's you, at last.
Aha! So it is the same guy from before! What's your problem, huh? What could you possibly have against Kazuha?
Indeed, there should be no enmity between us. If it is Ame no Miyuya that stands before us. But what if instead of facing Ame no Miyuya, we are in fact facing the blade in his hand?
Now that you mention it, it is giving off a strange light. Whoa, whoa! Surely you don't mean... Are you serious?
Tatarigami energy often lodges itself within physical objects, then works to subtly affect any living organisms in its vicinity. The blade has resided in Mr. Nagato's warehouse for many years, affecting his state of mind, and more recently using the sale as a means to affect, or rather as a means to occupy, Ame no Miyuya's body.
You're sharper than I thought. You've already deduced the truth of the matter. Many, many years ago, I was forged by a famed bladesmith of the Ishin tradition. I was his pride and joy. In me, he placed all his hopes and dreams. As a descendant of the Kaedehara clan, you should be able to guess our greatest regret.
I presume it has something to do with the Raiden Gokaden.
Indeed. At that point in time, he failed to live up to the Raiden Shogun's expectations. In the end, all he could do was to flee the nation by sea on a ship bound for Snezhnaya. He was a bladesmith of great renown, a master of his craft. There was nothing that he could not accomplish. And sure enough, in the end, he achieved what he had set out to do. All of his life's work, his wisdom, his skill, he not only bestowed upon me the greatest of strength, but also endowed me with a consciousness of my own. In her conceit, the Raiden Shogun lost not only the single most perfect blade in the entire world, but also an irreplaceable achievement in the art of blade form.
So... swords can become conscious and control people?
The people of the time in which I was born never believed I had that kind of power. They saw me as a mere blade, a sharp and well-crafted one, but in all other respects an ordinary weapon. But that gave me the opportunity to take action. After the death of my creator, I decided to leave Snezhnaya and began my long quest to return to the distant land of Inazuma. Moving from one person to the next, I controlled the minds of countless hosts along the way, each bringing me one step closer to my ancestral home. I seek but one thing: to face the full force of the Raiden Shogun's blade and prove my power, the might of Ishin art!
Ah, so Ame no Miyuya was not your first victim. Tell me, what happens to those you've possessed when you've finished using them?
My hosts? Who cares what happens to them? They are but tools that serve my mission. When they got tired, or injured, or unusable, I hopped to the next one in line. All I needed them for was to take me back to Inazuma.
You're awful!
After I returned to Inazuma, I decided to bide my time in Nagato's warehouse, until Ame no Miyuya handed himself over to me on a silver platter. At long last, I'm approaching my journey's destination. By Ame no Miyuya's body, I have found you, and by your hand, I shall defeat the Raiden Shogun! Kaedehara Kazuha, you stood against the Raiden Shogun's Muso no Hitotachi. Now, give your body over.
nature. Time to go.
He shall rewrite history! Join me and sever that divine light!
Inazuma shines eternal!
Shall rewrite history!
Windblade!
Do not stand in my...
Your bluffs.
Lost. Even if you he is but a puppet that can be the end result. And even if I, by any means...
Your fighting style. It is, but from your move.
Really?
As I've mentioned, since the blade, if you ask me,
Are you trying to on his deathbed, he passed to in that regard.
because all of that, I've been wondering, now that I've seen it, after all,
Oh,
only when Mr. Well, you were determined. I think you realize, but the way I see it,
What would you know about any of this?
you returned to even if you were to sever that divine light. Sure, you inherit. How could you?
Silence! I will concede.
And you should.
Easy for you to... I have no need of anything that would stand in my way.
How stubborn. I do not believe.
what?
Very well. Then, once we have done...
And as for your end of the bargain,
Don't do this, Kazuha!
this is the only. The cursed blades, the power of the Tatari.
But
Even if things. We have a chance here to save an innocent victim. I am willing to accept the risks in.
Your disdain for me betrays your now.
Kazuha?
I'm okay. I felt a little dizzy at first, but only for a moment. It's all right. So far, this was. I will. Thank.
What should we do next? Have you got a plan, Kazuha?
We find some enemies. Although this blade has endured much turmoil, it probably hasn't experienced many real fights. If a blade built for Ishin art cannot enter a state of harmony between blade and bearer, it cannot unleash its true power. If he wants to avoid reality, then we need to fight until he has no choice but to face it. He shouldn't last long in an intense combat situation.
Wait a minute. Paimon remembers hearing about something from the Adventurers Guild. Since the Takasukasa clan abandoned that secret base, it's been held by Ronin ever since.
All right. Please lead the way.
What about Amino Mayuya? What should we do with him?
The blade says he'll let Aminoma Yuya trail us silently. Although he hasn't regained his own consciousness yet, he is not in any immediate danger.
Are we sure this is a good idea? It's a pretty treacherous journey. Okay, fine. Just be careful.